If you don't know, builders are having it pretty bad right now. Right now, I'm getting emails from them and they're offering all kinds of incentives and rate buy downs because they just have a bunch of inventory that they cannot get rid of. So in today's video, I'm going to pick out a neighborhood where there are this new area, so in this new community of newer homes with incentives, and we're going to compare it with the houses that are resales in that specific area to see which one gives us a better deal. Now, of course, every neighborhood, every city, every situation is different, but at least in this case, it's going to help you kind of figure out what to do, like math-wise, for your situation to see if it makes sense to go with these new builds versus the resales. So let's get to it. So first and foremost, let's get started with the specific deal that's being offered to us. So this is from Lennar Homes. I'm specifically focusing on just Lennar, and the deal that's being offered to us at this moment is the following. We can get this house for a 3.8% interest rate. So they basically are buying the rate down for you to 3.8, and you're going to get $10,000 of closing costs. So right now we are approximately 3.4 FHA, about 6.385 with FHA, 6.4 conforming. So for them to buy it down to 3.8 is going to be pretty hefty. Now, I will say most of the time this implies that you have to use their lender. So I don't really know the specific cost associated with them, but in my experience, what I've seen is if you don't want the rate buy down, they offer you an additional 20K. So I'm giving a very generous assumption that it's going to cost 20K to buy down the rate all the way to where they need it to be. And of course, you know, since they're the ones that built the house and they own the lending company, I'm sure they can find a way to eat that cost. Now, how much does this help? Well, here I have a monthly payment for this price that we're looking at, $389 for 6.5. Well, let's actually move that down to like 6.4, so it's a little more realistic. 6.4 interest rate. That is not my zip code. This is a random zip code it automatically generated. Whoa! Oh, I put 64% interest. Yikes! Almost right. Not there. $2,500. Okay. So with the rate being offered to us by them, that monthly payment goes down to $1,900. So that saves approximately, what was that, $600 around there? In addition to this, they're going to give you an additional $10,000 to pay, basically buy your closing costs, which basically voids your closing costs at that point. Now, it is worth being said, although it wasn't in the email, in my past experience, they only give this option to people with higher down payments, like I think it was 5 or 10%, and going conventional loan. So please make sure you talk to whatever builder you're working with, and don't just read these incentives and just say, oh, this is what they're going to give us. Make sure that you qualify, or you find out what you need to qualify for to be eligible for this. Okay, so that being said, the house we're buying is going to be for $380. It's going to be a brand new house. It's going to have a warranty. So basically, to get to the point where it's going to make sense with a resale for this house, we need to find something that's going to be substantially cheaper. So that way we at least can eat the cost, and we can ask for a huge concessions amount to match that monthly payment. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look in the specific neighborhood, which I already did. And then we're going to find the house that the new builders are creating around here. We're going to find something very identical. So this square footage is 1797, 4-bedroom, 2-bath. So we're going to specifically focus on, let's say, 1750 to 1820. So I want something pretty close to it. But this one seems to be pretty identical. It's only about, well, both of these actually are. So, and they're actually more expensive than the new build. And this is why right now, resales, they just need to get with the program. They need to say, hey, look at this new build that's in the specific area that's going to be built pretty quickly nearby. We have to compete with that. So in this specific situation, we have 4 options. And this one is obviously a bigger lot. That's not very comparable to the one we're looking at, so we're not going to do that. Has a pool and everything. But we're going to compare it to this one. This is 4 bedrooms, 2-bath, built in 2020. Not bad. Only 2 years old. But the lot square footage is about 5750, and the new build that we're comparing is about 6122. So this is pretty identical. Now for the new build, they don't have any photos, of course, but for this one, we can get a good sense of it. You know, very clean inside, very clean throughout the floor. It's only a 2-year-old house, so it's going to be in pretty good shape. I mean, it's really hard to not take care of it well at this point. You could literally, you have to really go out of your way to beat it up for it to not look pretty good. Backyard does need some upkeep. So off the bat, I can say the price range really doesn't make sense. $389, $990. I mean, we're talking about $20,000 difference here. And on top of that, they're buying down the rate. They're giving you about 10,000 closing costs and let's say 20K to buy down the rate. So about 30K of incentive. So even if this was at the same price at 390, it wouldn't really make sense to go with the new build. Sorry, it's not the new build, the resale at this point. So what can we do to make this comparable? Well, we could easily just put 30K. I'm going to do a quick search on their tax records to see what their cash position, their equity position is. So give me 1 sec. Funny enough, this is actually a lender home. So it looks like they own the low 300s. So equity position is okay. They're making approximately a little bit less than 100K right now. This is before commissions and everything. So to really get near to this price range, they have to not make as much. So 396 is what originally was at. Yeah, they really have no business being at 410 here. So if we're able to get this for 390, which is the same exact price, we still need to talk them down further because remember, the new builder is giving us closing cost and they're giving us that rate buy down at 390. So we would have to get these folks down to 390 and on top of that, have them give us about $30,000 of concessions. A lot of people are, I mean, I can just already kind of guess that really work for them. So like, let's say we do 390 and we ask for 30K, they're only netting about 360. So their equity position is a lot more tighter in that position because they only bought it 2 years ago. We have to also account that the fact is that this house is 2 years old and it wouldn't be worth 390. It wouldn't be worth exactly the same as an older home. So we would have to discount it further and we'd have to say, okay, it's probably worth closer to 380. So they would have to be to 380. And in addition to that, give us another $30,000 of concessions. So that means that there would be about 340 net to be even anywhere near that. And that's the thing, hoping that we can use that extra 20K for rate buy downs and being comparable to that. But really in this case, it just makes more sense to go with the new build. I can't imagine they're making a lot of money on this. I mean, Jesus, it's like really tight. But looking at both options, of course, you need to be a little more patient. You have to go with the new build. The new build definitely takes the winner on this one. This guy, we're not even going to talk about. They're even higher than the other one. I mean, they must have had some floors made out of gold or something. Let's see. So this is something common you're going to see, ladies and gentlemen. So please, if you're looking to buy a house, compare them to new builds. And this is specifically the area of Tolleson, where there's like a lot more warehouses and whatnot. I can compare it to either bigger cities where it's a little more popular. And I'd be curious to see if the difference is that astronomical. So let me know what you guys think. Remember, there's 3 different ways to work with me. One is you could simply go to my website, ArizonaHomeGoals.com, and start looking at some houses. Second, if you're a little more urgent, is you can actually reserve a spot with me. I work with 4 clients per month. The link is in the description to submit your spot reservation, if you will. I know I'm like a fancy pair of Jordans or something. And last but not least, follow me on social media. Check me out. See if I'm actually legit, if I'm a real person or I'm just AI. So thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate you. Have a good one.